Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Walt, and today in this video we're going to take a look at a mod that is one in a sequence, and that sequence has been around for a little while. I don't know how many will remember, but sometime back Sigelei put out a 213, okay, and it was quite the fiasco. DJ LSB Vapes did a review on it and went through all the technical specs, and the mod just did not perform anywhere near the specs. And there was quite a row between Sigelei and DJ LSB. And since then, the Sigelei's put out a few more in the 213 line, and their latest is the Sigelei 213 Fog. Now, because of all of that, it kind of drew my interest. In the meantime, I had picked up, in fact, this is the original, the 213. I had picked up this on a sale, and I gotta say, as far as how it feels in the hand and the size of it and everything, and using it in simply wattage mode, okay, at moderate power settings, it's a decent mod. Okay, I mean, it's okay. I enjoy it. I enjoy the feel in the hand. I enjoy using it. But anyway, I just wanted to see, did they change anything? Did they actually, bring the thing up to where it's closer to the specifications? Did they actually do anything with the temp control, where it was a usable temp control, that kind of thing? So that's what we're going to take a look at today. So let's do this. So here is our mod, the Sigelei 213 Fog. And it says so right here, Sigelei Fog. Okay, up on the top we've got our adjustment buttons. And we got this nice stitched leather look. It has the feel of leather, so if it isn't leather, it's a rather convincing fox leather. Turn it on its side. Our fire button up here. A Type-C charging port. Turn it on the back. Again, our leather look. On the side, we have Sigelei. On the top, nice little 510 connector. Appears that its center pin's coated with something, brass or copper or gold, something, and it's spring loaded. It appears to be really solid in there as well. I haven't been able to loosen it at all, and I've tried. Get to the bottom of it, the battery door. This is always a bit of a disappointment in my books, but it is what it is. This is one of these that just has a catch on the side. Okay, you can kind of see it down in there. And if you look at the lid, okay, you got a catch up in here. I'd rather have a latch on there, but it hasn't come loose. It hasn't moved out of the way. You can see the plus and the minus marked on there. And I can't really see down in the battery cavity. It really doesn't want to focus down in there, but that's pretty standard as well. Like I say, it closes up nice. It closes up tight. Haven't had any difficulties with it. And that's pretty much our mod. Now, if we look at it side by side with the original 213, I see some differences in the fascia here around the screen and the controls. And of course, we got leather on this one. But beyond that, pretty similar looking units. Little different design on the top with the 510 connector. Not a lot of difference with the battery door from what I can tell. And like the old one, this one will take a 26 millimeter without any hangover. So that's your outside. That's how it looks. Alrighty, our menu. Now here they have changed some things. Up here you got a little lock, and it says it shows the battery charge. Right now it's 100%. 12, and that's 12 watts. It tells you that. Right now it's an auto. That's an interesting little feature they got on here. It will go out and it'll read your coil when you put on the Addy, and it'll come up with a suggested wattage for you. Now, if you try to increase that, hits max watts. Oh, 15. That's all I get because I have a 1.02 ohm coil in there. Okay, well, that's how that works. So, at any rate, beneath that, it says it's on auto. Right down here, it says, gives you the voltage. Here it gives you the resistance of the coil, 1.02 ohms. And down here, we've got a little puff counter. Now, click it 3 times. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And it goes into manual. Now you can adjust your wattage wherever you want to. It'll just go where you tell it to, and that's all there is to it. Click 3 more times. It goes into bypass, so you get just whatever the battery will provide when you're on bypass. Now, they definitely fixed their problem with temp control. This doesn't offer it. Haha! Okay, so that's it. You got wattage or bypass. That's it. Okay. So, what else was I going to say about this? Oh, a couple other things that you can do if you like. You can hold the top button and the fire button, and you can restore the defaults if you want. You can hold the bottom button and the fire button, and it'll show you the version. That's it, folks. Pretty easy menu, eh? Okay, so let's see what this guy can do. I started out with the highest resistance that I use for testing, which is 0.973, and anything that says actual has been read with a milliohm meter. The mod read that at 0.93 ohms, not too far off. The mod delivered 7.24 volts to the coil. The mod was set for 213, and the mod actually delivered 53.8. Not anything real surprising. I would expect this at close to an ohm coil. I'd expect that'd be about where it would fall out. On the second one, with the same resistance and the same mod resistance reading, of course, this time it was set for 20 watts, a more reasonable wattage for a full ohm coil. And the voltage of the coil was 4.68 volts, and it delivered 22.5 watts, just a little bit more than the set point, but again, really reasonable as far as being close. The third one, we changed the resistance to an actual resistance of 0.504. The mod read that as 0.48. It delivered 6.68 volts to the coil, and again, it was set at max power at 213 watts. It delivered about 88.5 watts. For half ohm coil, not too bad. That's pretty reasonable. Next one up, same resistance as last time. The 0.504 is read by the milliohm meter, and this time it was set for 40 watts, something more reasonable. And the mod delivered 4.68 volts, delivering 43.5. Again, like the last example, at a reasonable rate. It just over delivers by just a little bit. The next one is a 0.257 ohm resistor, as read as read by a milliohm meter, and the mod read that at 0.24. And again, it's still pretty close. The mod set for 213 watts delivered 5.92 volts, and the wattage at the coil was 136.4. Lagging a little here. It's we're getting down into a small enough resistance at a 213 watt mod should be doing just a little bit better than that. On the next one, an actual resistance, again the same resistance, 0.257, but with a reasonable setting of 75 watts. The coil, the voltage produced at the coil was 4.52 volts. And again, like the last two resistances we saw, it's delivering just a little bit more, 79.5 watts than what we're asking for. Very much within reason, but just a little bit heavy. The next one, dropping down to 0.171 ohms. The mod read that at 0.12. Here's where we're dropping off. There's about a 40% difference there. Okay, so if I were to guess at the mods, what the mod is doing is it's having difficulty reading lower resistances. The mod delivered 5.16 volts to the coil. Of course, the mod was set at max 213, and the mod was only able to deliver 155.7 watts. Now, I actually went back and double checked, with the milliohm meter, this resistance both in zeroing the meter and the resistance of that load, and it came out exact. Okay. So yeah, it's here we're falling down a little bit. This is something that DJ LSB Vape saw in the original one, and I think he called it that. I think he called it something like 150 or 160, a Sigelei 150 or a Sigelei 160. Okay, so they haven't fixed this. It still is under delivering at very low resistances by quite a bit. And here's our next slide. Again, with the very low resistances, something I would consider a little more reasonable, 120 watts. It delivered 4.04, and it only put out 95.4. So it's faltering here again, and again, I believe it has to do with that inability to read these resistances well. Okay, so 95.4 is definitely a long ways away from 120 watts. The last one I did just to see how it would react, and this is back to the 0.257 ohm resistor, and with the mod in auto mode, the mod chose 50 watts for that resistor. Okay, and so fine, it put out 3.8 volts, and it put out 56.2. So it is in moderate wattage ranges in both auto and manual. It is putting out, reasonably close to what it's set for. So there you have it. That's the performance of this guy. Okay, so let's see if we can't wrap this thing up. How did Sigelei or Sig do this time around? Did they make any reasonable changes? Is this something new? Is this accepting something exciting? Same old thing. What do we got? Okay, I made a list of things I want to chatter about after going back through the video that I put together. A couple things I missed, a couple things I want to talk about just a little bit more, whatever. So first off, Sig fixed the TC. They removed it. Hey, I'm all good with that. I mean, if you're gonna do something, do it right. If you're gonna put on your specifications that it works in temperature control mode, then yeah, make it so. Okay, don't put out something and then have not even a resemblance of what you're claiming to have. So I'm all good with that one. Wattage in manual mode underperforms. Okay, at low resistances. Anything under about a quarter of an ohm, it's going to underperform. We know that at high wattages and low resistances. The mod never boosts, so I don't think there is any boost circuitry in this mod. It's got 8.4 volts to work with. That's what comes off the battery. So yeah, there's no real need to boost. And it doesn't. So that also makes all of our oh good grief, all the delivery to the coils. Okay, a real nice flat DC with no noise. It's a boost circuitry that adds a noise to it, and because they have to, you know, turn it into AC and then back into DC, and then of course with the filtering. So yeah, there's none of that going on. So there's no noise on the top of those signals. Rise time is reasonably fast on all of it. I don't know if it's super fast. A lot of these things where they, oh my God, 1/1000th of a second, I can't feel it anyway, so I wouldn't know. But at any rate, it's reasonably fast. It hits like right now. That's all good there. Okay, the calculated draw on the batteries is very decent. The mod never reaches the 8.4 volts even that it's capable of putting out. So in calculating what the draw on the batteries would be from all the tests, it never exceeded 20 amps. So any 20 amp battery is going to be, continuous draw battery is going to be just fine with this, or any pair of them. Yeah, so it's safe in that regard. It is asking for a reasonable amount of draw from those batteries. Not bad whatsoever. The menu reset. It says reset to defaults in there. Well, there's nothing to set on the default. So what that really is just resetting the puff counter. So it's kind of a weird message for reset puff counter, but that's what it is. So. There's also another feature on the menu system that I missed. Sorry about that. You can press the up and down adjustment buttons together, and it will lock the adjustability of the mod. You can still vape it, but you can't accidentally change an adjustment. It's got good battery life. I made notice of that. It's of course, I've been using this. I've been mouth to lung now for, I don't know, 3-4 months. Just kind of went back to that for some reason and really enjoying it. Get a lot more flavor that way. And I'm just getting a hell of a lot of puffs out of a set of batteries. So battery life seems to be pretty good. The only place I can see running into a problem, quite frankly, as far as the underperforming in wattage, if you're going to use a very high mass, oh good grief, complicated, complex coil at very low resistances, then this mod may not be able to fire it well enough. That may not satisfy you, because those are the scenarios, those are the kind of coils that people like to really hit with some heavy wattage, and this mod is not going to do it for you. But for who knows what percentage, but for the majority of all coils that we make, regular single or double core coils or Claptons or the mesh, okay, this is going to be just fine. It's going to put out a nice vape for you. Oh my, the leather is a suede feel. I didn't mention that before. And it'll probably darken over time, I would imagine. And this comes with a USB charging cable and no operating manual. So I hope you find something on YouTube if you buy one. Oh boy. Oh yeah, that's an interesting fun fact. So, okay, there it is. The good, the bad, and the ugly. It's I keep on saying this, but I don't know what else to say other than it serves a purpose as long as you know what it does, and that's what you're looking for. So again, the obligatory thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you again sometime.